So as of recently, I've been getting into playing Dead by Daylight, and while I'm still learning the game, I'm excited to hear that we'll be getting a new licensed chapter being added January of next year with a new killer and 2 new survivors. And that got me thinking about what potential licenses I would like to see be added into the game. So in this video, I'll be going through 5 different licenses that I think would be great additions for Dead by Daylight. I'll be adding a new killer and 2 possible new survivors from those franchises. So without further ado, here are my licensed picks for Dead by Daylight. Now, Jurassic Park is a series that I would think sound a bit weird at first, but I think would fit very well for Dead by Daylight. The idea of having some kind of prehistoric beast stalking and ready to pounce onto you sounds like it would be a fun idea into the game. For the killer for this chapter, I think I'm gonna go with the Velociraptor, a well-known dinosaur from the series, and while it's not fully accurate of what an actual Velociraptor is, but we aren't here for realism. The second option I was thinking is the Dilophosaurus as a killer, but I think for how well known the Velociraptor is, I think it will be a better option. Now you may be surprised that I did not mention dinosaurs like the T-Rex or the Spinosaurus as my second option as a killer, and that is simply due to their size. I don't think having a large beast like a T-Rex or Spinosaurus will work very well on the maps of Dead by Daylight, and the only way that they could really work is if they downsize the T-Rex and Spinosaurus, or maybe have them be like baby versions of themselves. But at that point, I think it's just better off to pick a dinosaur that's more closer to the size of a person. Now for the survivors, it's pretty easy. I'm gonna go with Ian Malcolm and Alan Grant. Ian's not surprising since I feel like if you have to do anything with Jurassic Park related, he should be included with it, and Alan Grant is pretty much the same reason as Ian, being in multiple Jurassic Park / World films. Plus, I think a cool interaction they could possibly have with Alan and the Velociraptors, maybe a rare voice line will have it where the Velociraptor will sound like he'll be saying Alan's name, just like how they did in Jurassic Park 3.
Alan.
So Stranger Things isn't something new to Dead by Daylight, being the main focus of Chapter 13, adding the Demogorgon as the killer, and for the survivors, Nancy and Steve. So I think Stranger Things has a good shot of making a comeback with a new chapter, especially with the final season being released, and it'll be a great marketing for both parties. Now if we were to get another Stranger Things chapter, I think there are 2 potential possibilities for the killer, those 2 being Vecna and the Mind Flayer. Now bringing these 2 into Dead by has some issues potentially. With Vecna, we already have the Lich from the DNA collaboration, and you could make a good argument that if we have something to do to Stranger Things again to Dead by Daylight, Vecna should just be a skin for the Lich. With the Mind Flayer, it's just because of its colossal size, and I'm not sure how they would make sense if they decide to size this thing down. But between the 2, I think Vecna is the better choice, for him being potentially more popular than the Mind Flayer, and this won't be the first time Dead by Daylight added 2 characters who are similar to each other. Take for example the Hillbilly and Leatherface. While not being the exact same character, they have a lot of similarities to them. Now for the 2 survivors, I think this one's a lot easier to choose. I'm going to choose between Eleven and Mike. Eleven is pretty much the face of the show, and now that she is an adult in the final season, we won't have any kids dying in Dead by Daylight. Plus, I think it would be interesting to see how they could incorporate her psychic abilities into the game. Now, originally for the second survivor, I was going to choose Hopper, and I think he would make a great fit. But due to the time of this video being made, there's been some recent harassment lawsuit the actor is facing, and I don't feel too comfortable putting him on here. So I think Mike is the best second option. It would make sense that maybe when Eleven was taken into the fog, he ran in after her and tried to save her, but ended up entering the entity's realm. Friday the 13th is the one that I think many players are waiting for and hoping for this chapter, and I'm definitely one of them. Jason Voorhees is a horror icon, and his inclusion of the game just makes perfect sense. The main reason he hasn't been added already was due to the fact that the Friday the 13th game was out around the same time as Dead by Daylight, but I think with Jason Voorhees being in more crossover games like Multiverses, may it rest in peace, and recently in Fortnite, I think he has a better chance than ever being added to Dead by Daylight. So with it obviously being Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees would be the killer. For the 2 survivors, the first one will be Alice Hardy. since she was the first survivor from the first film, it just would make sense just to add someone from the first film of the series. The second option is a bit more difficult to narrow down to, but I'm picking Laurie from Freddy vs. Jason. I'm mainly picking her since she has ties between the two killers, Jason and Freddy, and I think it would be a neat way to connect the two. While it may not make sense too much timeline wise, I think it's just something worth sacrificing for this survivor. One thing the realm could be in the need of is some more clowns, and I think Pennywise will be a great fit for that. He's a well-known character from the Stephen King novel, and definitely brought some fear towards clowns and something else, you sick freaks. So for the killer, it's obviously gonna be Pennywise. There aren't really many other options if we were gonna be doing an It-focused chapter. For the two survivors, I'm gonna go with Ben and Beverly. I think compared to the rest of the Losers Club, I think these two are more than likely would be survivors, but I feel like the rest of them should have been left out and maybe they could become skins. I also want to mention these characters will be adults, since I doubt Dead by Daylight would have children that could be killed in horrific ways in the game. Nothing much to really else say about this chapter compared to the rest of the ones, but I think this is a chapter that I would really like to see be added into the game. Last but not least is the Predator franchise, one that I think has a decent chance of coming to Dead by Daylight. It makes a lot of sense to be added. Now for the killer, I think we have two potential picks. One is the classic Predator, the one that I think mostly everyone knows, but I also think the Super Predator would be a good second option, as well, since it's just a Predator but on steroids. But I think in the grand scheme of things, I'll just probably go with the classic Predator as the killer. Now we have the killer, let's talk about the survivors. The first one will obviously be Dutch. He is from the first movie and is the first one to slay a Predator, well, at least at that time period, so it just makes sense that he would be one of the survivors. The other one is going to be Alex Woods from the Alien vs. Predator movie. This one's kind of similar of why I added Laurie from Freddy vs. Jason, is that the connection between the two series. I think just having a character who has interacted with two of the killers in the past would just be a cool idea. Plus, it could actually kind of work out timeline-wise, and spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Predator, Killer of Killers, humans or other beings who have slain a predator are kept in a cryopod and later on to face each other. So you could have maybe make an argument there is some kind of older timeline that Dutch and Alexa were taken and soon were entered to the trials against one of the predators. So those are my 5 franchises that I would like to see be added to Dead by Daylight, and what do you think? Do you agree with my picks or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Now there are some other franchises I was considering adding to the video, but due to my lack of knowledge towards them, I wasn't too sure if I wanted to include them or not. Take for example Art the Clown from Terrifier, but since I wasn't too sure who the 2 survivors would be, I decided to cut it from the video. I also had some anime/manga ideas for Dead by Daylight, but I think those could be saved for another video. But that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, new to the channel. Hitting that subscribe button would definitely be appreciated. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.